I'm speaking with Michele Demers of the Professional Institute of Public Service of Canada. Michele, you were in the budget lockup and you've seen the budget document. What's your reaction to the budget today?
I wasn't in the budget lockup, but I did have someone there. My initial reaction is that there's a lot of good stuff in the budget, a lot of economic stimulus that was much needed and that people were asking for, which is a 360-degree shift for the Conservatives. And that is much needed, and I think will help the situation in this time of economic downturn. And the injection of funds in certain federal departments over development of programs and service delivery. I haven't the fine detail of that, but I understand that there is some implication of additional funding for some departments for some specific programs. What I am extremely disturbed about is the need for the federal government at a time where the public service is going to be instrumental in delivering all these new incentives and programs and services, felt the need to legislate the wages of the public service employees for 4 years. I find that's extremely disturbing, unnecessary, superfluous. It's something that the public service employees could have come to an agreement at the table. There's a process in place. We could have reached an agreement. There was no need to legislate. Other bargaining agents have come to tentative agreements, and unfortunately, because they bargained in good faith prior to the crisis, I understand they're going to be rolled back to the pattern. To me, that is again depicting public service as part of the problem instead of part of the solution, and that to me is completely unforgivable and unacceptable.
We've spoken before of the problem of morale in the public service, that the morale in the federal public service has been endangered by a number of government policies and actions. Would you say this contributes again to that demoralization?
It does, because it paints us into a corner where we are always on the defensive, having to justify who we are, what we do, what we contribute to society, and why this piece of legislation is unnecessary. Again, you know, you look at the parts of the budget that deal with expenditure review or strategic review. It's sexier name for it now. Again, 1,500 to 2,000 federal public service employees are going to be directly affected by that. The departments and agencies are already bleeding operationally because they're so compressed year after year after year, having to come up with savings on their operations to the tune of 5%, you know, every 4 years for the same department. How far do you go? How far do you take this? When do you become completely irrelevant because you have not the sufficient funding in order to deliver your mandates, and why? And especially in a time of economic downturn, you know, we so desperately need to have a strong and robust public service that will be delivering all those necessary services to Canadians. There's no rhyme or reason to the way public service employees are treated by the government.
One last question. Several commentators today have remarked to us about the effect on women of today's budget, that it does very little in terms of employment for women or the kind of services that women may depend on. Would you care to comment on that?
Well, the only thing that raises a flag, and I couldn't comment in depth, it's the entire situation around pay equity and the changes that they want to bring through a standalone legislation on how to deal with pay equity. It's difficult for me to comment at this point in time because I don't have all the details of the changes and how it's going to be implemented. What I know is that the process that was there before that took like 10 years to get any kind of result was not working. I know that including in the criteria for determination of pay equity or not is the external comparability with the market, which will be very helpful to the groups that I represent, the professionals who are difficult to attract in some instances because of the need for this acute and pointed expertise. If you don't have the opportunity to look at market comparability and market pressures, you don't attract these people to the public service. So that could be positive. But as I said, you know, there's a lot of details that I haven't had a chance to look at yet, and we'll see how it unfolds.
Thank you very much, Michele Demers.
You're welcome.